North East Surrey College of Technology, better known as Nescot, has been around for decades. This year marks the college's 70th anniversary, but what made this college the way it is today? Well, me and my team decided to look into the most important historical events that took place at the college. From bomb threats to world-famous bands playing at the Adrian Mann Theatre, there is definitely no shortage of interesting events that occurred here. Nescot started off as York County Technical College, with the first students beginning courses in September of 1953, and the establishment being formally opened the following March of 1954. The site was said to have been the largest school field in all of England. The college itself cost over £250,000 to build, and on top of that, the theatre that was built at the college, the Adrian Mann Theatre, was named after the first chairman of governors using the same name, Adrian Mann. The college gained recognition for its innovative approach to education known as liberal education. In the mid-1960s, students dedicated their Wednesday afternoons to a range of supplementary courses spanning from sailing to folk dancing. Furthermore, it was among the pioneers in technical colleges to assign staff members specifically for student welfare. Presently, this support network comprises various services such as advice and guidance, student finance, counseling, on-site healthcare, childcare, security personnel, and tailored assistance for students with a background in care. During the initial academic year, the college enrolled 789 students, with courses organized under the three departments: building, science, and general education. By the mid-1970s, the student population had soared to 4,000. At that time, tuition fees ranged from £72 to £120 per academic year for students over 19. Additionally, students aged 18 or under were eligible for travel cost reimbursement, set at 15p per return journey. First up, there was the 1960s. Now, we weren't able to find a lot on the 1960s, but we feel like this is still very important. In 1966, women were being objectified by the courses they were allowed on. We found out that they were only allowed on one course, and that was the housewiving course. And on top of that, members of staff would question the male students about how the female students would dress, and some answers were extremely weird. One student said that if the legs of a female student was nice, then they'd be allowed to wear skirts with no socks, which is extremely weird. Moving on, let's see what the 70s was like. In 1973, a fire swept through the newly built extension, gutting rooms on 2 floors and causing an estimated £100,000 of damage. The blaze began in a science laboratory, but the cause remained unclear. It has been theorized it was most likely a Bunsen burner or a flammable chemical that could have caused it. York Technical College has played host to many well-known artists, including Queen, Genesis, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, and Ralph McTell in 1975. Around the same time, York Technical College changed its name to Nescot because of the rapid advancements in technology with the introduction of computers, printers, and other devices. In 1977, Shepperton Studios spent a day at the college filming scenes for The Revenge of the Pink Panther, although the scene that was shot wasn't used in the final cut. Naturalist David Bellamy studied at the college and later worked as a laboratory technician. He credited his teachers with inspiring his interests in biology. On top of that, cartoonist Frank Hampson, who drew the Dan Dare comic strips and was voted the best post-war comic illustrator in the world in 1975, was a technician at the college, and Dr. Guy Vine, father of Jeremy and Tim Vine, taught civil and structural engineering at Nescot. In March of 1978, TV presenter Shaw Taylor was kidnapped by local students for the upcoming Rag Week. Shaw was filming at the college for a program designed to cope with the problems students faced when driving a car or motorcycle. Students then turned up and politely asked if it was alright to snatch Shaw and then took him away when they were told to go ahead. Thames Television handed over £100 for the return of Shaw. Next up was the 1980s. Things really started to get interesting around this time. In October of 1980, there was a meeting of many different religions from around the world at the college. There was Dajit Abi and Indradit Singh who were Sikh. With them was Jayatraha Das Goswami, and Rohin Inandana, who were guru. The Archbishop of Guildford, Reverend David Brown, was also present at the meeting, as well as Jack Austin, who was a Buddhist, and lastly was Rabbi Freeman, who was an Orthodox Jew. We know not of why they met, but it must have been to do with the equality of all the teachers and the students throughout the college. In June of 1989, a homemade bomb that could have gone off was found at Nescot. The device was poorly made with weed killer and was found in a plastic carrier bag left in the entrance to a cloakroom near the staff room. It was found by a member of staff at Reigate Road College, and within minutes Scotland Yard's anti-terrorist squad had been alerted. Throughout the 90s, the principal of the college was a woman by the name of Hilary Cole. We were able to uncover a college inspection that took place in June of 1995. It goes into detail about how the college manages its student enrollments, as well as some of the courses that can be taken there. Some of these courses included the Life Science course and Construction Crafts. We found out that the college's annual funding in 1993 to 1994 was £27.07, which was 27% above the median for other further education colleges at £18.92. There was a funding convergence in 1995, and the college's average funding dropped to £22.70, which is still 27% above the general quota when the other colleges' fundings dropped to £17.84. The report states that there were a lot of issues with the college in the 90s that are still a problem today, some being that there were low amounts of support for students with learning difficulties and disabilities with limited foundation courses. In some areas of the college there were some bad teachings and some students weren't learning anything, and that their financial management was really poor. Jumping up a generation to the 2000s. Back in October of 2002, multiple graduates from Fulham FC and Wimbledon FC had successfully completed a 2-year academic course at Nescot. This is linked to a joint initiative that was funded by football clubs and footballers to provide further education and vocational training society to develop young players. Nescot helped by providing the academic and life skills needed for them. During November of 2006, Nescot honoured its first Asian Premier League player, Zesh Raymond, who played for Fulham and Queen's Park Rangers. During his time at Fulham, Zesh studied with Nescot. When he got the prize, he said, "It was great to come back to be a part of such a heartwarming event. I enjoyed my time at Nescot, and seeing the prize winners. It was obvious that they were all deserving of the prizes they received, and I wish them all the best for the future." During the 2010s, a lot of interesting things happened, like... In July of 2013, Nescot College secured a £75 million contract to run Saudi Arabia's first women-only vocational training institute. Nescot led a consortium of 3 further education colleges and 2 universities, all in the UK, to clinch the deal. Working in partnership with Highbury College, Portsmouth, Burton and South Derbyshire College, the University of Hull and Birmingham City University, the Nescot Consortium will deliver educational courses to female students at a women's college campus in the city of Jeddah. All 3 colleges in the consortium are led by female principals. On December 15, 2017, Heathrow Airport and Nescot College joined forces to make air travel easier for people with disabilities. Air travel at first was quite daunting for those with disabilities, but after the college and the airport had worked together, they created new areas and identification systems for passengers with extra needs. They also worked towards changing the airport experiences for passengers with hidden disabilities, as 7% of UK citizens avoid air travel due to their disabilities, according to the Civil Aviation Authority, or CAA. A spokesman for Heathrow Airport said, "Earlier this year, our regulator, the CAA, gave Heathrow a less than favourable rating on our special assistance service for people with reduced mobility and hidden invisible disabilities. Since then, we have been busy working behind the scenes with our partners to find ways to revamp our service. Now, Terminal 3 has had its special assistance area completely revamped and is more comfortable and visible, and even the signage has been changed." Throughout the college's history, there have been many members of staff working here. We decided to sit down with some of them and ask them about their experiences as a teacher.
My name is Anne Holt. I'm the MIS reporting and systems developer, and I started at Nescot in 2000. Well, it rather depends on which of my departments you're talking about. So I came to Nescot as a professional librarian, and so I was working in the Learning Resources Centre. And when I arrived, it looked completely different. We had both floors, for instance, and upstairs in the Learning Resources Centre was a silent study area. And there was an AV studio over there, so that's been completely reshaped. And in terms of the service, there is a lot more electronic resources now, obviously, and a lot more access to computing than there was when I first started down there. And then after a few years, I moved over into e-learning, which was quite new to the sector at the time. So I was out and about helping teaching staff learn how to use technology in their teaching, whether it was the interactive whiteboards or video cameras and lots of other things. And I was also looking after the increasing number of websites that we had, including online classrooms. So I was looking after a system called WebLearn, which was based on Moodle, and that became, a few years ago, we moved over to using Google Classroom from that, for instance. And then a little bit more time went on, and because I was so involved in reporting out of the back of those systems for management, and as well as getting data integrated into them, I was asked to join IT services. And again, that was a team that had been spread across the campus, and we came together as one big team. And most recently, we've started to react more to where our systems are being stored. So we store a lot of systems up in the cloud. So, for instance, we've employed our first cloud engineer dedicated to that. And then very, very recently, because I've continued to look after databases and systems and reporting, I've come to work for MIS, Management Information Services, and now that's what I'm dedicated to. So yes, it rather depends on which my department you're talking about. There is one area of the college which has grown and grown since I arrived in 2000, and has now even got, in terms of where it lives, is bigger and bigger. And that's what's now called foundation learning. It's been called various things over the years. And I think the fact that we're able to offer opportunities to students with learning difficulties and disabilities, with high needs, from the lowest level, and also to see those students progress out of foundations up into different departments which offer level 1, level 2. I think in my time I've definitely seen a student from foundations get to level 2. I can't remember if I've seen a student from foundations get to level 3. But these are students who come to Nescot not just necessarily with developmental or physical issues, but actually maybe they've just fallen through the net in mainstream schooling. And we give them the opportunities they've never had before, and that makes me proud every time I get to the end of the year and I can see how well that group of students have gelled and are just interacting with the rest of the college population. I think that's brilliant. I think because it's been willing to adapt. It's been a slightly different college across all of those years, and it's always had to meet the needs of the local population, the local economy, as well as sort of national needs. And even in my time here, when I first arrived here, we offered A-levels. And it became obvious that in order for us to survive financially, that continuing to offer A-levels wasn't the best option for us. And so we took a very brave decision at that time to drop all A-levels and go purely to vocational courses. But we've grown from strength to strength as a result. But you do need, within this sector, you have to be constantly responding to the changes in the local economy and what the local population want. Well, it rather depends on the government. Where is the sector going? Where is further education going? We know we've got some big challenges on the horizon. We've got T-levels coming in, for instance. That's going to mean students earn a lot more placement. There's some talks of an English baccalaureate and what that might look like for students and how we could support students taking that. But I think the future's bright for us. There's been a lot of investment constantly while I've been here, and the most recent investment's been in the Institute of Technology. We've got in collaboration with a number of other colleges across the southeast. We've built a whole new facility up on the third floor of one of our buildings that can support robotics, cybersecurity, virtual reality. We're in the process of putting in completely interactive spaces into another area, complete immersive spaces that students from all across the curriculum will be able to use. And I think as long as we're attracting in that sort of infrastructure, then we will continue to attract students and making sure that the curriculum we're offering is completely up to date. When I first started, obviously, games design, nobody even knew what that really was, and now it's a thriving area of the college. I think the future is very, very strong for us because we're continuing to adapt. I've seen pictures of the college when it first opened. Obviously, it was far smaller in terms of its building size, and the area around was a lot more open, not as much housing and everything. I think it would have felt quite a bit of an impact when you were driving up to Nescot, or I think it was called Tech at the time. The curriculum, though, is what stands out because this is 53 when it opened, Tech, and the curriculum was very much of its time. So, and particularly for women. So if you came to Nescot as a woman, you were basically, as far as I can make out, you had three choices. You could do secretarial, you could do domestic science, or you could possibly train to be a pharmacy assistant. That was about it. You had no access to all the things that women are used to now, and there was no expectation that you were going to go into any other careers than those. So when you look at the perspectives, everyone looks very happy, but you're like, okay. Whereas for men, they could just do whatever they liked. So that's the biggest difference. No, I don't. It's not as impossible as it sounds because obviously people have worked even longer at Nescot than I have, and they've got contact with people who were there in those early years. But no, I don't personally know anybody. I'm helped by the fact that I was born 19 years after it opened. So no, I didn't know that. It doesn't surprise me. I think any site like this, some things will happen that are a bit unusual. I remember the college that I went to, which is in another part of London, we had a bomb scare, for instance, and we all had to evacuate the building. So inevitably, in the history of a building like this, something's going to happen. No, I'm just wondering. I was going to say, what did they put in the microwave? But no, I didn't know there was a bomb scare in the staff room in 1989. But I'm guessing that's all it was, and it's probably somebody had done something a bit stupid. Yes, I think the one that struck me, was Pink Floyd, and I do like Pink Floyd a great deal. So the idea that in their career they were here, but it's not unusual. The part of London I come from, for instance, the Rolling Stones. My mum can't believe that she managed to miss the Rolling Stones as one of the places they performed when they were getting together very early on. She was quite a frequent visitor to. So she can't believe she missed them.
My name is Simon Thackwell, and I started Nescot in 2014, so 10 years at this place. I think we've seen quite a lot of major developments in our department. Initially, when I first came here, there were probably less teachers, so we've seen like an overhaul of staff as well, and in that time we've been able to kind of adapt to the needs of our students as well in terms of what we teach. So it's been an incredible journey so far, I would say. And in terms of developments we've made, I would say that we have a lot more technical equipment than we had. We run a lot more student trips. And I think things have just progressed really, really well in that time. And I think we're very lucky to have as many classrooms as we do, and very lucky to have as many students as we do as well. Yeah, so I mean, we've had hundreds of students pass through these doors coming in and out, and how they develop is a massive achievement for everybody. Not everybody goes into a media career, but we don't expect everybody to go into media. It's about um, hoping that we can establish some new skills and along the way and getting people ready for work. And that's essentially where we want people to finish the course. So it's not about one particular person going on to work for a film. Those things happen occasionally, and that's wonderful. But for me, it's more about the development overall of young people and where they start and where they finish, and the development we see individually as people progress on the course. And some people start here on very early levels, level 1, level 2, and they can work their way up to the final year of HND. So for me, those are the wins. They're the real times that I feel incredible satisfaction with my job and this department, when we can get people through the different levels and achieving and getting qualifications so they can go out there and go and do something in the industry that they want to do. It's a difficult question to know why we've been so successful. We have some good ratings, which kind of are good evidence of where the college is at. Our last one being good, and I think the overall objective of staff here is to try and make it an outstanding place to come and study, and that will benefit us as staff and students as well. But having a good rating attached to a college is a really good achievement. It's overall it's everybody's achievement. It's not just one department, it's everybody. So that's a reason why we're successful here at Nescot. I think we've got a good sort of work ethic generally as a college, and a good family style environment to the staff that work here. And we've been able to have quite a lot of staff that have stayed here rather than move on. And I think that goes to show that people are happy working here. And if you've got people that are happy working here, that feeds off into the students, and that is where we can get some success with our retention, keeping people here and helping young people develop into the careers that they want to. So the future for Nescot, wow, okay, I really hope that we're going in another 70 years. I won't be here, I don't think, unless they think of a new course where cryogenic freezing potentially. But I really hope that we're here, still thriving, expanding, got new courses, new ways of thinking, and developing every year in our different departments. But it's a vocational college, and people choose to be here, and they want to choose to do something, whether it's working in public services or in creative media and film, or working in the music industry, or going to work on a farm. These are really important jobs in the future for people, and it would be really great if we can keep developing all the time. And I think the college has made recent decisions to help improve where we're at and where we're currently going as well. And we've got some good people in charge as well, and I think their heart is invested into making this place as good as it possibly can be, and let's hope it continues. Wow, so when it first opened, I mean, we're talking 70 years. I'm trying to think about how my parents maybe would have felt about coming to an FE college and adapting and thinking about their kind of them as individuals. Let me just think. So I think that it would have been very exciting for that generation. I don't know too much about the area at that time, but this was an FE college. It's new. They pumped lots of money into it, and I guess they were hoping for a lot of students to come and walk through the doors, but I guess you never know when you're starting an organisation like that, how many people will come in. And they were obviously successful and they expanded, and I think early days as well, I think they were able to expand to a good level. So they had a lot of students that came in and were successful, and they enjoyed it, and it gave more young people in this area another opportunity to go and learn something extra after school and build up those skills, and then hopefully be ready for the world of work. So I can imagine it would have been very exciting overall. So the opening years, probably not. I don't know anyone personally. I wasn't related to anybody who came here, as far as I'm aware. But I know that they had quite significant people in history that came and worked here and lectured here. People like David Bellamy, and there was also one of the creators of Dan Dare as well. I mean, that's like a household name all over the world. So to have people of that ilk coming to lecture here was probably extremely beneficial for the young people that they managed to teach, and a bit of a coup for the college as well. So I can imagine that anybody who worked here in those opening years, it was probably a really interesting period of time, and probably a bit stricter then than we are today. I don't think they would be accepting any lateness or lack of attendance, whereas I think we're a little bit more accepting these days. But I have no idea. I'm obviously very young, so I couldn't possibly give you all that information. And do you know what? I've heard rumours about this fire. I have no idea how big it was, or how problematic it was, but I think there was quite a lot of money spent on the repairs and trying to get the college back up and running again as soon as possible. But yeah, I don't know too much about it, to be honest. So a potential bomb threat in the staff room. I wonder, I have lots of questions about this, how it unfolded, but I have no idea whether it was an actual hoax or whether somebody was prepared to go through with this. I'd have to look into the history of this myself. But yeah, I don't know too much about it, and I sincerely hope if that happened, that it never happens again, because that would be incredibly scary. Yeah, I hope that wasn't true. Yep, heard lots about that. I've been working here for 10 years, and it's been spoken about quite a lot, and I do think about it every time I go into the AMT. I do think about all the great bands that have played there in the past and how different it would have looked back then. But yeah, incredible bands like Cream, Genesis, Queen. They're rumoured to have had the Beatles here as well, but I think that is a rumour rather than a fact. But they're my favourite band of all time, so I really hope they did play here. But I'm not sure if that's true.
My name's Louise Gaskin. I'm the head of curriculum for creative industries, and I started Nescot in 2012, so 11 years ago. 12 years ago, nearly. Oh, wow. Okay. So we, over the years that I've been here, the past 12 years, we've created a TV studio, which used to be our office. We gave that up and made it into a TV studio. We've created a games hub, a screening room, an art space, an esports room, podcast suite. We've gone from Macs to PCs, back to Macs and PCs again. We've gone from Blackmagic cameras to Sony A7s to investing in all the equipment. That's just in my department. Across the college, I've seen the renovation of the skills park being built as well. So huge building changes and huge facility changes as well, and staff changes. Lots of new staff come and gone as well. In the 12 years I've been at Nescot, I think my greatest achievement is seeing these young people flourish into brilliant adults and people that I still keep in contact with, and I get to see the progress they've made. We've had students go on to work on some huge blockbuster films, work for Netflix. So those are those kind of great achievements, but also seeing students that I taught in my first year who now come back and teach in the college as well. That's a massive achievement for me, and something I'm really proud of, that these young people have decided to come back and teach as well. All the World Skills medals, that's always a huge spotlight in the year when we have some World Skills success, which is always really good for the department, it's good for the teachers. And I always really enjoyed when we used to do a domestic filming trip where we'd go away for 4 days and we'd shoot a short film. I always really enjoyed those things. But just seeing students do their final major projects, and actually I think one of the best things we do is our end of year show, the NAFTAs. I love the NAFTAs, so that's always a great time of year as well. I think it's a community. I think Nescot is a place that you either like or don't like working, and if you like working here, you tend to stay here for quite a long time. So we've got a lot of long-serving staff members, especially in my areas. The media team have been here now, I think the person who's been here the shortest is probably Ben, but myself and Damien have been here for 12 years now. Simon's been here for nearly 10, and Jess and Abby were obviously students here, and then they've come back, same as Alex. So I think Nescot is a place that you feel is a bit like home. So I think that's what contributes to its success, is ability to make people feel like this is a place they want to come every day. So, all for our department, the teaching team are up for the National Teaching Team of the Year award, which I think is a huge recognition to be shortlisted for that. So I'd like to think the future holds them winning an award for Best Teachers of the Year in the country. I think lots more student success at World Skills and in department, lots of students making brilliant films like you guys are now. And I think for the college, I think it's that journey to outstanding and ensuring that the college puts those things in place so that we can be the college of choice for young people. Oh, I'd imagine it'd be very different. I'd imagine there'd be a lot of men around in the 50s teaching. I'd imagine the courses would have been different. I'd imagine there wouldn't be many females teaching video editing, but maybe more things like cooking and typing, and things like that. I'd imagine the video moving image department probably wouldn't exist, and music would have probably, if they did a music course, it would have been a much more traditional type of music course. Yes, so yeah. More men, less creative. I am 38 years old, so unfortunately I do not know anyone that worked here in the 1950s, but God bless you for asking. I didn't, but I only found that out recently through a quiz that Simon did for the staff, and he knew there was a fire here. So I knew that through Simon. No, but I'd imagine it's probably made by a student. Yes, I have. So apparently there's lots of bands that have played here, rumours of the Beatles, but they're unfounded, I think. And Nick Cave has played here as well, is that right? And Bob Dylan? Have I made that up? Did Bob Dylan actually play the AMT? Yeah, see, I did know that. Maybe, who knows, maybe we'll start our own Nescot band and they could play the AMT as well.
Yeah, sure. My name is Ginny Kennedy. I started here as a staff member 23 years ago, so back in 1984. And prior to that, I was a student here, 40 years ago. So that was 1984 was when I started as a student, 2011 when I started as a staff member. Apologies, yeah. So it feels like forever, but yeah, obviously like it here. Well, currently I'm working in the media and music department. I've been here for the longest. I have worked in other departments before, but developments are looking at industry, new things coming into the industry. So they've introduced new courses like esports and games design. I think we're the first college to do games design, updating the studios, the equipment that we have, being more inclusive of students and getting them out doing filming externally rather than just in college. So lots of different things, yeah. Well, we've done really well on things like World Skills, which is for some other students. But what I really am proud of is seeing how a lot of students have progressed from some from foundation, some from coming from into the early courses, and progressed not just academically but with their emotional and their social skills as well. So it's just a whole rounded confidence, all those sort of things. So that's probably my proudest achievement. Yeah. Well, it's a very inclusive college. They offer a wide variety of different courses. The curriculum is very broad. Being a vocational college, it's I guess it's for students that want to come in and learn to go into industry. So there's the variety of courses, acknowledges that. There's support available. The campus is lovely. It's a nice, beautiful sort of, as much as it's not open like it used to be, it's still a very welcoming and safe campus. The future for this department is to continue as we're doing, is to look at where industry changes and work with that, and bringing in new equipment, new courses that fit in with what's happening out there in the world. I mean, taking on board, say, like the esports, that's a course that we're doing this year, which is very much on vogue at the moment. In terms of the college itself, I would hope they would just continue looking at students being the centre of what happens here and ensuring that they receive good education and enjoy their time here. Gosh, back in 1984 when I was a student, it was an open campus. There were no gates, no fencing around, it's just completely open campus, so it was very green. There weren't as many students here then either. We used to have to do handwritten work or using a typewriter, old-fashioned style. So there's none of this editing, copying, pasting. It's a lot more difficult. What else was there? Different teaching styles, so there's a lot more sort of lecture type. So you'd sit for 2 hours listening to somebody talking and then you go and do your work. But there were things like, there was a bar. There was a room that had a jukebox in, so break times you could go and sit and listen to music and hang out with friends, stuff like that. So it was cool. Well, I wasn't born during the open years, back in the 70 years ago. But no, when I was a student, I didn't know the staff that worked here. I am aware that there's a teacher whose sons both are famous now, Tim and Jeremy Vine, because a friend of mine used to work with him. So their dad used to work here as a lecturer. And one of my friends that works here now, she used to work with him. But no, I don't know anybody else. I wasn't aware of that. I think it was, I think just from, obviously when I was a student, I wasn't here at that time, but I think there was something, it wasn't in a lab or something. I've heard some rumours about it, something about a lab, so I don't know if there was much more. It wasn't happened when I was here. That I do remember vague rumours about. I don't recall if it was serious, but I do remember, you sort of hear things in the sort of the canteen and stuff like that, you hear rumours, but no, that's all. I don't know the details. Yeah, the Genesis, I know. A guy called Nick Drake, who was a young artist, and he died. It was his last performance was at Nescot in the Adrian Man. I think Led Zeppelin. There's a couple of others I can't remember. Yeah, it's quite a lot of cool bands that played here. And actually, I have to say, as a performer, because I do Amdram, I've also performed on the Adrian Man stage as well.
Now that we've delved into the past and the present, it is now time to think about the future. We sat down with the head teacher, Julie Capsalis, and we got her opinion on what the future of the college would be like and any future events that would benefit the college.
Yes, hello, I'm Julie Capsalis and I'm Principal and Chief Executive of Nescot, and I've worked here for 2 years since April 2022. So I've only been here 2 years, and I would say I can't take credit for the 2 examples I'm going to give you. They were real team achievements, but something that I'm really proud of, and I think the whole college should be really proud of, is in January 2023 we had an Ofsted inspection. It was the first inspection we'd had for a number of years, and we were graded as good in all areas. And so much hard work goes into an inspection. Everybody in the college wants to show us at our best, and it was an incredibly stressful but rewarding 4 days, where at the end, when I had all the staff in the theatre and was able to tell them the result, that's something I will always remember. But for me, it's now building on that. I am really keen that we are ambitious, and next time we're inspected, I'd like us to be outstanding. I think my other example, and one that I had quite a lot of involvement in before I even joined the college, is our Institute of Technology, which opened earlier this year in 2024. And this is a real partnership between Chichester College Group, the University of Sussex and the University of Brighton. And it's looking at technology within education, particularly around robotics, artificial intelligence, and the Internet of Things. And these are all skills and knowledge that's going to be key in the future. And we've received a £2 million investment from the Department for Education to have world-class facilities in this area, and I'm really proud of that.
At the college?
I think if people ask me why I work in further education, it's because of the amazing opportunities that you have to support people achieve their dreams and their goals through education. And actually, I'm lucky enough to say that every day in my job, I'm able to see that. And that can be someone coming in with something very specific in mind. They want a qualification, they get it, it helps them get a job. But I think one of the things we do brilliantly here at the college is we can support people over a significant number of years. They might come in at an entry level or a level 1, and they're able to go all the way through to actually get really high level qualifications and then, you know, secure their dream job. And I think I'm right in saying that you yourself have studied at the college for how many years?
Started back in 2018, so for about 6 years.
And what did you start studying?
I did level 1 IT, then I went on to level 2 media, then to level 3 media, and now I'm on H&D level 5.
And
So
I think that's an incredible journey that you've been on, and I'm really proud that the college has been able to support you at every step along that way. And when you came to the college back then, did you think you'd be on a level 5 qualification?
No.
See, that's what I think we can do in terms of changing people's lives through learning, and that's what makes me get out of bed in the morning and come to work with a smile on my face, and it's what makes me proud. 70 years is such a long time, and as we celebrate this anniversary, I've been thinking about it a lot. And obviously in the 1950s it was your technical college, and a lot has changed. I think one of the reasons for our success is we have an amazing campus here. We have 60 acres. It means over the years we've had enough space to develop, to have a farm, to grow, and to provide the courses that our learners want. But I think alongside the facilities, what we've always done really well is invest in the importance of teaching and learning. I know that may sound like something obvious, but it is so important to ensure that we've got the best teachers, we support their development, because through them, that enables our students to have their success. And also ensuring that it's not just the lessons, it's ensuring this is an environment where people will make friends for life, hopefully. This is where you'll have experience with trips, competitions, and I really want people to have an enjoyable time here, and I think that has been part of the college's ethos for the past 70 years. I think a really exciting future. I've seen in the 2 years I've been here already huge change and huge opportunity. I see us with our technical roots as a technical college, 70 years on, we're still advancing, moving into new courses, you know, really challenging the boundaries of how we use technology in a positive way, and I think that's hugely exciting for the college and the students, but for the community as well. This college employs over 600 people, and I think back over the last 70 years, how many hundreds of thousands of people have studied here, have worked here, and how much of an impact have we had on the local area. And my commitment is to make sure we keep doing that, creating great jobs, training people who are the future of our workforce and of this country, and having a positive impact. That's a great question, and actually it's something I am thinking about, because to develop a campus the size of this, sometimes projects can take 5, 6, maybe 10 years to happen. So you have to be planning and thinking ahead. Maybe not as far as 20 years, but some of the really big questions that I think we need to be asking ourselves is around sustainability. I feel very strongly that this campus that we have here, this beautiful campus, we don't do enough around sustainability, around looking at our carbon footprint. So I would like us to look at, can this campus be carbon neutral in 15 years, maybe 20 years? We have an amazing car park here. People often joke that one of the best assets that Nescot has is one of the largest free car parks in Surrey. Now that's great. I drive, I love the fact I can park easily. But going forwards, as we start to look at more sustainable transport and encouraging people not to use cars, maybe we should look at using that land for something else. So that interests me. We also have amazing sports facilities. We have fields out the back that are used at the moment predominantly for football, for our football academy, and I'm really keen to develop those, working with partners into a centre of excellence for sport, health and well-being. So lots of exciting opportunities, but more than anything else, I want Nescot to be here in 20 years, to be an outstanding college and to be a real centre of the community. So I think if you look at our estate at the college and our buildings, we've still got the original building from 1953, and we've got buildings pretty much from every decade since. So there are some buildings that I would hope will have been knocked down and replaced by buildings that are more fit for purpose, that are more sustainable, and that reflect different subjects that we might be teaching in the future. An example of that would be our new Institute of Technology, where we're teaching robotics and artificial intelligence, and we've got 2 immersive suites. Will we have more of that? Will more and more lessons be with virtual reality headsets? Now, I think it has to be a balance. I think sometimes nothing beats actually being in a classroom with a group of people that are there, a teacher, but actually sometimes you can have different learning experiences by using technology. So I think there'll be more technology, but I would like us as well to be a lot more thoughtful about sustainability. So we're always thinking about the future and what should we invest in next. And thinking about something big isn't always thinking about a new building or a new kit or a new bit of facilities. So a couple of things that we're doing at the moment that I'm really proud of, that I think are big and important. We launched a degree apprenticeship in lab technology about a year ago. And that's something really important. Within pharmaceuticals, animal and plant health, there's a real gap of lab technicians, crucially important jobs. If you think of, what we've been through with COVID recently, things like avian flu, it's really important that we are investing in science and technology. And I'm really proud that Nescot is really looking to the future in terms of developing skills, working with companies in this region to do that. So I think it's about innovation in our curriculum and the courses that we deliver, alongside investing in the estate and facilities. And I think one other example I would give, we often, when we think of Nescot, think of 16 to 18-year-old students who are vitally important, but just as important are our older students, whether that's sort of 19 to 25-year-olds, or for me it's about lifelong learning. It's something I really believe in, that somebody could come to this college and retrain or upskill at any point in their life. And I think what we've seen over the last decade is radical changes in jobs, in automation, where people are going to have to retrain and upskill. And what I would like Nescot to do, and where I want us to invest, is making sure we're the destination of choice for people to train and move into jobs. I think it's crucial they do. The success of a college is an interesting debate sometimes around finances with a college. We're heavily driven by the funding that we receive, but colleges have to be sustainable. They have to make sure we can invest in the future of our college. And the best way to grow as a college is through student numbers. I say that all the time to the team. We need to look at how we can have more learners here and how we can make sure they have the best possible experience. So a huge priority for me is working with our local schools to ensure that more young people at 16 or 18 come to the college. It's working with employers so that they are taking apprentices from us, or work placements, or we're training their staff. So yes, ultimately, the success of a college is down to the quality of its education, its safeguarding, and the number of students it has.
And there you have it. It sounds like Nescot has a lot of strides for its future regarding technological advancements and student care. I hope that this college prospers in the far and near future.